Hey everybody, today we're going to work on substitution, which is a way we can solve systems of equations. And yeah, these are basically 4 levels of substitution. We're going to go over the first 2 types in this video, and if we have time, we'll do a second video with the 3rd and 4th type. Okay, so when we substitute, we're basically going to make sure one of the variables is by itself, and then the expression it's equal to, we then plug in for that variable. Okay, so we have two equations here, each one with 2 variables. We're going to use substitution in this case. So you'll notice all the ones on this side of the page that we work on have a variable that's already isolated. So let me zoom in a little more here. So you can see y is by itself. So we're going to take this expression 3x plus 10 and plug it in for y right here. Okay. So let me rewrite that top equation. Negative 2x minus 7y equals negative 1. And now we're going to take this expression, and because it's equal to y, we're going to plug it in right there. Okay, so we're going to write negative 2x minus 7, parentheses, and then we're going to put 3x plus 10 equals negative 1. Okay, and then we just solve for x. So we're going to distribute this negative 7. So we have negative 2x minus 21x minus 70 equals negative 1. And we're just going to solve for x here, so we're going to combine those. So negative 23x minus 70 equals negative 1. Now we're going to get rid of our constants. We're going to add 70 to both sides. Okay, so we're going to have negative 23x equals 69. And we're going to divide both sides by negative 23, which is our coefficient. And that should equal negative 3. So we have our x value. So now we're going to go back and plug this in into either one of these equations to find y. But you'll notice this equation is already solved for y. So I think it's easier to plug it in this one. So that's the one we're going to use in this example. So I'm going to rewrite this equation first of all. But instead of x, we're going to plug in negative 3. So y equals 3 parentheses plus 10. So instead of x, we're going to put negative 3. Okay, now we're going to follow order of operations and just solve for y here. So we're going to do 3 times negative 3, which is negative 9. And negative 9 plus 10 will be 1. And there we go. So let's write that as an ordered pair. So it's always x comma y, right? This is how we always write our ordered pairs. So negative 3 comma 1. So before, when we were solving systems of equations by graphing, we'd graph these 2 lines and see where they cross. In this case, we don't have a grid, so we have to use this format. And as I alluded to earlier, there's another way of doing it called elimination, which we'll learn again. Well, we'll learn that later. Okay, so let's try this one. And again, this is already solved for y. So we're going to take this expression, negative 2x plus 2, and plug it in for y. So negative 5x plus 6, and instead of y, we're going to plug in negative 2x plus 2. And that's the y value, equals negative 22. Okay, so we had to distribute the 6. It's positive 6, right? Make sure these red arrows there. Okay. Negative 5x. And then 6 times negative 2x is going to be negative 12x. And 6 times 2 is positive 12. Equals negative 22. We're going to combine our like terms, which are negative 5x and negative 12x. That's going to be negative 17x plus 12 equals negative 22. There's the bell. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides because that's our constant. So these cancel. We're going to have negative 17x equals negative 34. We're going to divide by our coefficient, which is negative 17. And x will equal 2. Okay? So we're going to plug this back in here to find y. So y equals negative 2 parentheses, and I'm going to plug in 2 for x. So 2 goes here. All right, so we're going to follow order of operations. We're going to multiply first. So we're going to do negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. And then negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. So y equals negative 2. Okay, so we put that as an ordered pair. So x comma y, so 2 comma 2. Sorry, 2 comma negative 2. Number 3. So we have our expression here. We're going to plug that in for y. So we're going to write 5x minus, and then our y value is going to be negative 3x minus 7. equals -1. We're going to distribute this negative sign because it's actually a -1. So we have 5x, -1 times -3x is positive 3x, and -1 times -7 is positive 7. Okay, we're going to combine our like terms, which is the 5x and the 3x, so that's going to give us 8x plus 7 equals -1. Let's get rid of our constants. We're going to subtract 7 from both sides. So 8x equals -8. We're going to divide both sides by our coefficient, which is 8. And x will be equal to -1. Okay, let's plug that back in up here. So y equals -3. And we're going to plug in -1 for our x value. Okay, so let's follow our order of operations. So -3 times -1 is positive 3. Positive 3 take away 7 is going to be -4. So y is equal to -4. So -1, -4. Okay. We're going to take this expression and plug it in for y value. So you can kind of see what we're doing here. I'm just going to kind of walk through this. So as you're doing these, you can check your answers. So 3x minus, and I should have time, I think. I don't know if I'll be able to finish the whole sheet, but I should be able to get quite a bit of it done before I have to go to directed study. So we're going to plug this in for y. So 3x minus 2 and equals -18. We're going to distribute that -6. And don't forget that's a -6. That's something people always forget. So 3x and then -6 times 3x, sorry, 6 times -6 times 3x is -18x. I swear I can speak. There we go. And -6 times -2, excuse me, -6 times -2 will be positive 12. And that's -18. Let's combine our like terms. So 3x take away 18x will be -15x plus 12 equals -18. And we are going to get rid of our constants. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides. So -15x equals -30. Let's divide by our coefficient, which is -15. So x is equal to positive 2. All right, now we just plug that back in up here. So y is equal to 3 parentheses. Let's plug in positive 2 there. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 take away 2 is 4. So y is equal to 4. All right, so it's 2 comma 4. There you go. All right, let's try the last two on this side. All right, so we have our expression here. 6x plus 12. We're going to plug that in the y here. So we're going to write -8x plus 3, and then we parentheses 6x plus 12 equals 6. And we're going to distribute the 3. -8x plus 18x plus 36, yeah, equals 6. Yep, and then we're going to combine like terms. So -8x plus 18x will be 10x plus 36 equals 6. We're going to subtract 36 from both sides. That's going to give us 10x is equal to -30. Divide both sides by our coefficient. So x will be equal to -3. We're going to plug it back in up here. So y equals 6 parentheses. What's going in that parentheses? The -3 is. So y is equal to -18 plus 12. And -18 plus 12 is going to be -6. So y is equal to -6. So -3 comma -6. Okay. So Yeah, I think we'll do this one, then I'll make another video going over the ones in the back. I might just do it during directed study. It's pretty quiet down there. Okay, so we're going to take this and plug it in for y. So we're going to write negative 8x minus 3, and inside those parentheses we're going to put 3x minus 7 equals 21. And now we're just going to distribute that negative 3. Okay, so negative 8x minus 9x plus 21, excuse me, equals 21. Let's combine like terms. So negative 8x minus 9x will be negative 17x plus 21 equals 21. Oh, we see where this is going. Subtract 21 from both sides. Negative 17x equals 0. So I think those keen-eyed at home can already figure out what x has to be equal to. X will be equal to 0. All right, and now we're going to just plug that in. So I love when things are equal to 0. It makes our lives a lot easier. So plug in 0 there. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 take away 7 is negative 6. See how much easier that is? Oh, I love it. Love it when one of the variables is 0. Okay, so 0 comma negative 7. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. So I have to go do a directed study duty, and I will save the next part for another video. So you can see that this is a lot of, like, look at that. That's a lot of stuff we just did, right? I'll leave that zoomed out so you can check your answers. You have to be really, really careful when you're doing these. You have to really take your time, and you have to be very methodical. If you go too quickly, you're going to make one mistake, and one mistake will throw it all up. It usually happens during the distribution step. So hopefully that answers questions. Let me know, guys, if you have any further questions on those. All right, thanks.